Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And for tonight, we're going to discuss a topic that I really hate talking about, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We're going to talk about Diablo Immortal and how a bunch of freaking asshats helped them earn $24 million in its first 2 weeks of availability. Why? Why is all I can say is why. Are we really that just stupid around here, especially in this country? Because according to some data that's been obtained by Pocket Gamer, since its June 2nd release on mobile, it has been downloaded 8.5 million times, and players have spent $24 million in game transactions. It says the revenue's been split just about equally between the Apple Store and Android, with 13 million and 11.3 million earned through their respective stores. Broken down by who's paying all this money is Japan is accounting for 8%, Germany is 6%, Canada's 3%, Korea's 23%, and guess who's on number one? Come on, the United States with 43%. Come on, people, stop being idiots. Stop spending your damn money on this crap ass stuff. The game is not available in countries like Belgium or Netherlands because of the game's use of loot box, which we need some of that shit over here. Just make that stuff illegal. It's just stupid, and it's getting stupider out there. But some of these people out here are the reason why games like this exist. Proof and positive. How else can you make $24 million in 2 weeks? Gambling in Diablo, that's how you can. We've talked about it with other mobile games out there. It's mind-boggling to me. But I won't steal all the thunder. Nick, what do you think, man? What do you think about us being number one again?
We're number one. We're number one. We're always good at being number one at the stupidest crap. So, yeah, I mean, 24 million in his first 2 weeks of availability. It's just online gambling is what it is. It's all it is they've made a Diablo slot machine, and enough people pulled it and put enough coins in that slot machine that it made $24 million. And that's all these gacha games really are, is they're just slot machines and hope that you get, that's a gacha machine. You hope you turn the knob and get the gacha you want. Right. And that's all there is to it. I mean, and it's ridiculous. And, and how does what does Blizzard look at? I mean, do they find this to be, I would imagine they would, but do they find this to be a success? We talk about mobile games and successful as they are. Diablo 3, right, was a fully released game. And within the first 24 hours of Diablo 3 releasing, it made about $200 million in revenue in its first 24 hours. Around there. It definitely made more than Diablo did in its first 2 weeks, Immortal. So, I'm trying to gauge success, I don't know. And I've heard rumors that the player base has diminished quite a bit, which really happens in these games. You think about Diablo Immortal and you think about Genshin Impact and all these other gacha type games. Really, the only people that are left behind are the whales. And I think what the terminology is, like the minnows or something like that. I think that's how they use it, or the mega whales and the whales. I don't know. They got a bunch of terminology for it. But the people who are, the people that are going to spend money, all the free to play players, I would assume most have probably, unless they've spent some money in this game, have probably gone off all away to something else. And the only people you have left are the whales, who are sitting there spending money to get better and better in a game that's just full of whales, right? It's almost like an exclusive club for those that want to waste their money on a game, on spending for, again, pulling the handle on that slot machine and hoping for that rare five 5 out of 5 diamond, right? Or 5 out of 5 star diamond or whatever, or jewel or whatever in the game, you know? So it's not surprising. It's not surprising that we're number one. It's not surprising that Korea was number 2. I mean, they have a big mobile game market in Korea. But 24 million, it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2 more weeks, right? With Diablo Immortal. Is it going to be higher than that, or is it going to dip down? Right? I feel like these games at some point probably level out at a certain revenue stream. As long as they keep introducing content, I think those whales, those individuals coming into the game to spend money, right? I mean, because this game and types of games like that, you have to go in with the assumption that you're wanting to spend money for it, right? That's the only assumption you should have, is that you're ready to open up your pocketbook and you're ready to put in your credit card number and spend on things, because that's the only fun you're going to get out of this ultimately. You might have fun at the start, and we talked about it in our review. Diablo Immortal is on its fundamentals a pretty good Diablo game. It is basic, but it's not bad. And that's where they hook you, right? And then you're like, hey, this is a bad game. And then you realize as you continue to play that, no, I have to spend money if I'm going to enjoy this. Like now it's just gotten to a repetitive grind, which Diablo is always a repetitive grind. But in regular Diablo, you don't mind doing that repetitive grind because you're going to drop something nice. But as we've seen online and various things like that, and we've found that basically for free-to-play players, the odds of you getting anything good is pretty much zero, right? And unless you pay money. So it doesn't surprise me that we're number 1. It doesn't surprise me that it made as much as it made. I'm just curious to see, in the end, compared to a full game release, is this going to be more beneficial for Blizzard, right? Was this the right move for them? I don't think so, but how are they going to look at it? And in the next 2 weeks, how is that money going to look? Are we going to have another 24 million? We're going to have 36 million, or are we just going to make like 12 million or something like that, like a much lower? Because even those free to play players may have spent some cash, right? Bought the 800 value the 800 value loot boxes that they try to get you to buy for $1, just to hook you. They might have bought some of those. They might have bought a battle pass or something, right? But once you get past all that, those free to play players more than likely probably dipped out, maybe after a battle pass or something like that, and they're not going to stick around for the remainder. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 2 weeks. But what do you think, Pat?
Yeah, my biggest thing is I'm pretty sure they're going to call this a success because I cannot see them spending more than $15 million to make this game. So, I would say 30 million at max, but I don't even think it cost them that to make this game. I would probably be hard pressed to see them spend 15 to 20 million to make this game. But this is a success, right? In 2 weeks, it's already made its money back. If it is 15, I have no clue if that's real number or not. It's just something that's off the top of my head. But what do? You can't combat that. I mean, all the big mobile games are making billions of dollars. I mean, when we're talking like Genshin Impact, PUBG Mobile, Pokemon Go, and Candy Crush and all that kind of crap. Those guys made like over $1 billion each, I think, last year. So that's insane. And if Blizzard makes half of that, I think they're going to call this a success. What'd you say Diablo 3 made? How much did you say it made in a year or when it released?
It was around like 200 million.
So if this game makes more than that and it costs way less to make, they're all for it. They're all going to be all for it. I mean, I'm sad to say, but this just proves that people are idiots and will spend money on random crap like that doesn't exist, because none of this stuff is existing outside of the game. It's one thing to buy the game and play the game because you're supporting the developer, but this is beyond supporting the developer. This is supporting the greed of the corporation at this point. And I really wish something would happen in this country where they would outlaw loot boxes, because loot boxes are the bane of the video game existence, right up there right ahead of NFTs. It's the bane of video game existence. And so gamers are putting up with it and spending their money on it. I'd like to know how many of those players, 8.5 million players, were U.S. players that contributed to contribute to that much of the freaking market share. That 43% of all purchases were from the U.S. And just imagine if China ever does let this game go in that country, because it got indefinitely put on hold because I guess somebody pissed off China or whatever. If they ever release this game over in China, I can only imagine how much money it's going to rake in, how much freaking money it's going to rake in, because they're usually right up there with us, spending their money. It's stupid, and people got to stop doing it, or these mobile games are just going to ruin regular games, in my opinion. They're going to ruin it because companies are going to stop focusing on these one-time purchase games and focus on games with loot boxes and games like this that they can just sell you a chance to win something in the game, because that's really what you're paying for in Diablo, a chance to get a legendary gem, a chance. You're basically gambling, except for you're not gambling for a chance to win money. You're gambling for a chance to win a digital item that you can't do anything with outside of Diablo, besides sell it in their internal auction house thing for in-game currencies. So it's not like you're going to make real money off of it. It's stupid and asinine, but they've got the formula. Obviously, this shows it, $24 million in 2 weeks. How long before they make $1 billion? I think the game is a little bit too repetitive to broach that, but I could be wrong. Maybe the multiplayer is just that competitive, and the PvP is that competitive, and you can only run rifts for so long before that gets boring and burnt out. I guess they're saying that it takes 100 grand or whatever to get maxed out. If you're blowing 100 grand on this game, what the hell? Just give me the 100 grand. I'll play the game for you all day, every day. Because that's basically what you're doing. You're paying somebody's time to just get you all the stuff you want. You just pay me 100 grand. I'll play the game for you until you get everything you want, and then I'll give it back to you. That's just stupid. I don't get it. It blows my mind. I mean, I spent a lot of money on WoW back in the day, but that's because I had to pay a monthly subscription plan, right? On top of buying the game. That was like a big pain point back then, right? Was I have to buy the game for $60 and I have to pay a monthly subscription to play. And then my servers kind of died and all my friends went to another server. I got to pay if I want to transfer servers and things like that. That's how they got you back then. And now it's all mobile games with, here's a chance to get a legendary gem. Here's your chance. Just give me $19.95 for this one-time chance. And I'll guarantee you, if you run it 10 times and you don't get one, the 11th time, I'll guarantee you get one. Just got to spend $1,000 with me. So that's stupid. I don't get it.
It's like those snake oil salesmen, right? I mean, that's what these games are. Like, step right up. This will cure all your ailments. Maybe. I mean, possibly. I don't know. You might have to buy several of these, but one of them will. And, like we said, it is gambling. And it's like a casino, except for the only difference is the casino you have to be 21 to go in a casino. These can be played by anybody. So, little Joey gets a hold of mom and dad's credit card. He could rack up thousands of dollars in Diablo Immortal or whatever. There's no age that you can't go in there and start paying for this stuff. So it is gambling, but for all ages, right? I mean, sure, you have parental controls and stuff like that. But if you don't set any of that stuff and, your kid's account is set to an adult account, then, as long as he knows all the information, there you go. So, I mean, there's a little bit of stuff to do with parents having to make sure that they're not spending their credit card on stupid things. They put password protected and various things like that. If they want to buy something, it asks before purchasing. Various things like that, but you got to put that stuff in place. But you were talking about Genshin Impact, and yeah, I mean, Genshin Impact has generated more than $3 billion globally, and they're saying, according to a new report, that on average made $1 billion every 6 months since launch in 2020, and that's insane.
for a
Again,
mobile game. Mobile
for
game.
mobile game. And it's a gacha game, right? I mean, it's also a loot box game, right? You're paying money to hopefully get some sort of epic reward that you're wanting, and it uses the star system just like Diablo does, right? Diablo has the jewels, and they are starred, right? You have one you have 1 through 5, and then those have a 1 through 5, right? So you have a 1-star gem that could be a 1 5-star gem, right? And a 5-star gem, the 5/5s are the best of the best gems. And Genshin Impact uses that same type of system. They did it first with the whole star system. So yeah, I just can't believe that. I don't get it. And personally, I don't understand it. Like, for one, I hate mobile games, and for two, I just don't get the appeal of wasting my money on the unknown. Right? That's like going up to I don't know. I mean, yeah, exactly right, Pat. You're not getting anything for it besides a digital good that's only good for that game. And if you decide to stop playing that game, or that game decides to shut down one day, all that money you spent is gone. You don't get it back. Your digital goods don't transfer to somewhere else. It's just gone. Right.
Right. Because it's not going to be around forever. Right. I mean,
yeah.
Blizzard's kind of facing some similar stuff right now. Right. They're getting ready to kill off Overwatch for Overwatch 2. And everybody was kind of worried about what are they going to do with all my loot box purchases? What am I going to do with all that? And they're going to say that everything but the loot boxes will transfer over, but to what extent? Are you still going to get to keep all your skins and all that kind of crap and everything? But at some point, the game's no longer going to be fun. And if you've blown $10,000 or $1,000 on this game, hell, if you've blown $100 on this game, it's done. You're never going to be able to play it again. I'm in agreement with you. It just seems dumb. I guess somebody could spin up a private server and you can figure out how to configure the game to point to the private server eventually to play it or something. I don't know. I just think it's a wasteful amount of money because I cannot imagine. I would like to know the number of players in the U.S. and then the number or percentage of players that spent money so I can figure out how they got to 48% of $24 million or 43% of $24 million in 2 weeks and be like, what do you do for a living that you can just throw away money on a mobile game left and right like that? I mean, it's one thing to support them with a one-time purchase of the game, but to support them continuously for something that I don't see being how do I put this, new content added that's not something like seasons, because that's all Diablo has really done with the regular game, and that's all it appears they're going to be doing with this one is we're going to give you a new season. And what do you win with this new season? We got a cool new avatar ring, a cool new background, and a cool new piece of armor that cost us $100 to make. That's how much we care about you. That's how much we care about your money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, this game can make me rant for hours and hours on end in games like this. But Nick, do you got anything you want to put out there on this one before we shut the book on this one and hopefully not bring it up again?
Yeah, hopefully not. The only last thing I have to say is, and I said it during the review, but this is the reason why these games are still here, right? Is because they're so wildly successful. And us as gamers, I know there are some people that like these types of games, but for us as my whole thing is if they stayed on, I don't like mobile gaming anyway. So if they stayed on mobile, I don't want them to be on mobile, but if they stayed on mobile, it'd be hard to get rid of them, right? And they stayed on mobile, that's fine. But I can feel them slowly making their way into PC gaming. And that means they're going to slowly make their way into console gaming and every form of gaming that we have. And where every game is going to be like a gacha system, and every game is going to, beyond the $60, $70, $80 that they want you to pay for the game, they're going to get you with, loot boxes and various other things like that. A few games are like that, right? But not every game. Battlefront 2 came out with that loot box system, and there was a ton of backlash, and they changed all that in Battlefront 2 for the better. But just like anything else that's coming in gaming that we as gamers don't like, companies are going to continue to push those things until they get through, right? And this is just another example of them pushing to get what they want, which is ultimately just more of your money through that system. And if we keep fighting, hopefully one day they'll stop. But if we stop fighting, they'll get it in there and then it'll be normal. Kind of like DLC, kind of like $70 games now. You know, luckily $70 is not the norm yet, but you know, if I wouldn't be surprised if it definitely by the next game consoles coming out, they'll definitely be $70. But you know, will Microsoft change their mind on going up to $70? I don't think so, because that would just be bad optics for them. But you know, Sony definitely is, and Epic I think is as well. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing a lot of other developers kind of get on that train eventually. So, but if we keep pushing back as gamers, you know, hopefully that won't happen.
Right. Yep. They just want your wallet, people. Hopefully you can see that this game offers nothing but competition that gets you nothing. So, you know, well, let us know what you think down in the comments. Did you spend some money on Diablo Immortal? And if you did, why? Tell us why. I don't see the appeal of it and how you feel that it's, I mean, I can understand if you spent $5 or something, you know, I don't know. Maybe I couldn't spend any money on it because it didn't hold my attention outside of the week we reviewed the game, because it just felt repetitive after I got to a certain level and had to run rifts. So let me know if you spent money. What's your reasoning for spending the money? You know, I understand supporting the developer, but at some point it becomes a cash grab. And do you have a limit, you know, on things like that? Let us know what you think. You know, we'd like to hear from everybody. And as always, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit that bell for notifications, because we put out a lot of videos every week. So we hope you like this episode. We hope to catch you in the next one.